before we learned about prokaryotes and eukaryotes, right? So these two actually belong to the prokaryotes. Okay, and this is the eukaryote, right? Do you remember all the characteristics of prokaryotes? They're not membrane bound, right? Okay, so they have no membrane bound DNAs, okay? But instead they have nucleoid instead of nucleus. Okay. Also they have prokaryotic ribosome, right? Prokaryotic ribosome. Also, they don't have any membrane-bound organelles, such as mitochondria, lysosome, vesicles. They don't really have that, right? So no real organelles. Okay, so these were the common characteristics of prokaryotes, but these actually becomes classified into these two different domains. Okay, so in here we talk about these three different domains. Okay, and then in the eukarya we have other 4 kingdoms coming up. Okay, so first let's talk about the bacteria domain. So when you go to page 172, okay, so figure 12.1 shows the 3 domains, all right? So universal ancestor. Remember from the evolution, we share a common ancestor, okay? That's very like, that's very like old, right? Universal ancestor. And then it actually evolved into different organisms, okay? So our root is common, but then it has evolved according to different environment and different environmental effects, and one domain that came up to be is bacteria. Okay, so domain bacteria, if you look at the bottom of the page 172. Okay, first of all, before we read about the domain bacteria, let's go over the introduction to this part. All organisms are classified into one of the 3 domains. Okay, notice that 2 domains, bacteria and archaea, both include prokaryotes. Notice also that the familiar kingdoms, protista, fungi, plants, and animals, all belongs to the eukarya domain. Okay, so domain bacteria. First of all, it is single-celled prokaryote. Remember, all the prokaryotes are single-celled. Okay, so they are unicellular organism. Okay. Also, when it comes to DNA, remember this is a circular DNA, not the linear DNA. Okay, so remember all the prokaryotic properties. So they are single-celled prokaryotes with no internal membranes. Okay, so they don't have nucleus. Instead, they have nucleoid. Mitochondria they don't have. Chloroplast they don't have. Okay. Some are anaerobes, some are aerobes. So some go through anaerobe respiration, meaning it doesn't really need O2, right? But some of them go through aerobic respiration, which means they need O2 to actually survive. Okay? Bacteria play a vital role in the ecosystem as decomposers that recycle dead organic matter. Okay? So in the soil or like in a rotten material, right, you have a lot of bacteria in there, right, and they decompose those organic material into like more basic shape of the atoms, and they return it to the environment. Okay, so they actually work as a recycler. They actually act as a recycle. Okay, for the atoms to go back to where they came from, the soil. Okay, they are pathogens, disease causing. Right. So as we look at the pictures here, so this is a prokaryote. Okay, so prokaryotic properties. So first of all, they don't really have membrane-bound DNA, but instead they have circular chromosome and they have nucleoid instead of nucleus. Okay, so they don't have nuclear membrane. Another one is they don't really have organelles here, but they have like small ribosomes. Okay, also on the cover they have like these kind of tail-shaped things, and these are called flagella, right? Also, they have like sex pili, and they have cell walls like this, okay? And outside the cell wall, they have capsule, okay? Capsule is kind of sticky layer, so this helps like the prokaryotic organism binding to the environment, okay? So these are the common properties of the prokaryotes. Okay, so some of the prokaryotes, some of the bacteria can actually work as a pathogen. Pathogen meaning it can actually infect the other organisms, okay? So in this case, it talks about the Lyme disease, which is a skin disease.